Yeah,
Oh, whoa. Let's go where it snows. Let's go where the snow globe goes, where the snow globe slows and everybody knows.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 13 of SUPcast. This is me, Neil Patterson. This is my podcast, SUPcast. We shoot this podcast sometimes in a van, and sometimes we shoot it in other places. Right now, we're in Los Angeles, California. We're on a street parked by a grocery store and a Taco Bell, and I'm with one of my near and dear friends, Mr. Zachary Winchester Phillips, aka a Nonsense Man. I mean, what do you go by these days?
Zachary, or a lot of folks will say the turtle guy. Or Nonsense Man works, but Zachary.
I am a nonsense man, living in the kitchen with the pots and pans. We are the nonsense men, swimming in the desert with the scorpions.
You've got a little bit of moisture in your mustache.
I'm a sweaty boy.
And I just wanted to make sure, because I see that there's a video element to this, that you would tell me if you saw any particulates in my beard.
Your beard looks immaculately well groomed. Like it looks like almost like it's not real because.
Whoa, this comb was a ground score. I washed it heavily when I found it. It was quite dirty, but I didn't have a comb, and I don't want to do the thing where you don't buy stuff and put more stuff into the world. So I picked up this comb, washed it thoroughly, and now I've been combing my beard with it.
Where did you score that?
Around here, around this neighborhood. We were near the campus of the University of Southern California.
USC, baby.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the significance or particularities of that particular institution, but it seems nice. There's a lot of scooters and skateboards, and your mustache is profound. And this is the first time I've been in your presence as a mustache man.
Yeah, it's a new thing. I grew a mustache, and people say, "Hey." And I kind of like the way I look. And when I shaved it off, it felt weird. It felt like something was missing, so I grew it back. This is my second go at being a mustache bro.
It's kind of like having a cast. Like if your arm or leg is in a cast, like people who know you and care about you are going to mention it. And if I haven't seen you in several months and you have a mustache, I'm going to be like, hey man, what happened?
What happened to your face?
Yeah. Like
why is there a cast on your face?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is about facial hair is you can't have other humans sign it. So that's the one thing that's missing from that whole cast analogy is can I get someone to sign this thing?
I could get it like etched. I could get someone's name etched into my beard, or somebody could actually.
Or dyed.
Yeah. Or you shave around so you have like a continent of somebody's face or name, or kanji character of their spirit animal.
I like that. I like that. So, I don't even know where to begin. We drove here in the van. Well, first off, I want to say that you were here. The inception of the ownership of this van all has something to do with you, because Zach was with me when I did this garage sale thing, and we were at the Tangent Gallery, and he actually helped me film the promo video where I was like, hey, I'm trying to get a new van because I'm moving out to Los Angeles, California, yada, yada, yada. And Zach and I, we were hanging out a lot at the time. That was right around the time my father passed, and it was right around, it was actually a little bit before that, but I don't know. I was just around you a lot. We were collaborating. We were writing music together. We were performing at the Nonsense Night together. And us doing the fundraising for this van, like I wouldn't be in this van right now if like you were a part of that, whether or not you know that.
That's beautiful.
And so we had this show at the Loving Touch when we made a decent amount of money, and I put that money and the money we had towards the garage sale, we put a down payment on this van, and this van was supposed to be the start of my new life in LA, and it's been going on 4 years since I bought this thing.
It's no longer a new life. It's just your life.
This is my life now.
This is real life.
This is real life. So having you on this podcast, which essentially is kind of the new chapter of things, is what I'm spending most of my time doing, and sometimes the band. But you're sitting in the vehicle that you help facilitate the existence of, and not the existence of the vehicle, but the purchase of it. You know, you were
manatee infestation manifestation, a coming to reality of stuff that was once dreams and wishes. How beautiful.
Yeah, because in that video, it's just like I wanted to do a thing. And what I've been noticing lately about myself, at least, is as down as I get about where I ended up, what I tend to do is set a goal and achieve it. Now, does it happen the way I want it to? Does it happen with all the bells and whistles? Does it happen with all the pats on the back that I'm looking for? No, but if I decide to do something, I do it. I said I was going to get a new van, and we raised money for it. And I said I was going to take that van to Los Angeles, and here we are in that fucking van.
In Los Angeles, California.
With Zachary Winchester Phillips. So, yeah, that to me, that means a lot. It means a lot just that you were there for me when things were very questionable, like where I was going to be in the future and whatnot. And like my father was sick, and I don't know. I felt like we collaborated at a time when my entire life was a big question mark. And so much, your symbol has a big question mark in it.
Wrong. Yeah. Nothing. Yeah. That's the symbol of I don't know. That's the we call it the IDECO, and it means instead of like I don't know, it's like I don't know, like to confidently walk into reality with infinite possibilities and embrace and accept and brave the mystery of you don't know what's going to happen. But as you just said, I have found this thing that when you have a long-term goal and you set it and you tell others about it and you keep reminding yourself and others about it as you walk towards it, and obviously there's some days where you don't walk towards it as much, and I know you and I have similar psyches in the sense that we experience a lot of we beat ourselves up about not doing enough when we're doing a lot. And there's days where it seems like progress isn't happening, but 3 years later, here we are, and it's happening.
Yeah. Not only is it happening, but the main goal that we were seeking happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the biggest part of me. Like, it's hard out here. It's really expensive out here. I'm having to work a regular job. I can't just depend on being an artist thing. I'm really going fast, and sometimes I have to slow down and be like, hey, that thing that you wanted to do, you're living it. You did it. And yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the way I was raised, and that nothing I did was good enough for my dad. It was something was always said about what I was doing, whether or not it was not sitting at the table with the proper posture. There was always negative my entire life. So I feel like I manifest a lot of that. In that voice in my head, I'm just constantly being like, you're not doing enough, you're not enough, you ain't shit. It's that whole you ain't shit thing. And sometimes, and it really takes a lot of effort for me to counteract that thought and be like, you are shit. I mean, not shit, but you are
a thing.
You are a thing, and you are doing the thing, and the things that you wanted to do, you did. So keep doing the thing. Yeah.
There's a thing, though, that I think that it's like part of, it's certainly part of the human condition, but it's also an engine that I am less upset with now that I am never satisfied for long. I'll have a night of satisfaction. I'll have like a refractory period of having fired the art load properly. And I'm satiated for a series of hours, and then I sleep, and then I wake up the next day, and then maybe have a Sunday of feeling like I can be lazy today, and we can just go to brunch, or we can cook breakfast, and we could skip breakfast because breakfast is propaganda, and then we could have a day of not feeling like we have to be productive, but then if there's 3 days of those in a row, it's immediately back to I got to do something. I got to justify my existence. And maybe I'm changing the language from justify my existence to doing what brings me joy and what spreads joy. As where before, very decisively for long period of years in my arting life, I don't have an exact age, but let's say like I'm like 25 years old. I'm 31 now. At like 25, I was very much still. There was a lot of in the language in my head of you've got to do something with your capabilities. You've got to justify and verify that you are a thing that does good. And now it's more genuinely like I'm just doing the stuff that I love to do. And if it's having net positive effects in the world, then that's just a really good afterthought. I'm not doing it really anymore to have the consequentialist effects in the world, because that's a little insincere. It's like I want us to be I want myself to be someone who is truly playing, and if you want to watch, then and if that does something for you, or like the communications, the expressions are doing something for you, then that's great, and that makes it even more motivating for me to continue. But really, I'm just hashtag living my life.
Yeah, and that's a thing. Similarly, I've kind of globbed onto as well recently, because even with this podcast, there's all these analytics and numbers, and I'm comparing myself to people that are very successful at it, and it's just like, I told my friend last week, this is therapy for me. Like this is helping my mental state, and it's getting to the point where I'm looking at even my band, the thing that like it was going to be all or nothing. Either this band was successful, or I failed. But I'm looking at it right now. It's like I spent almost 20 years of my life playing and really just being free in those moments when I was on stage, and that's worth something, even if no one gives a shit. Ultimately, end game, even if it doesn't affect millions of people, like I was doing at the core of my existence and my being and my soul. I felt like I was being the most me I could be in those moments, and you just have to accept that that's worth something, whether or not it equates into some sort of form of monetary success.
Yeah. So there's a question that's been brewing, and I feel like it's a very relevant time to have this conversation now. So, coming here to Los Angeles, California, and I hear a rumor that it's expensive to exist out here. I experienced that for a little bit when I'm here. There's things are a little pricier, particularly a place to store oneself, home residence. And so you have to do a lot more to get the money dollars just to be. But what justifies that, and what makes this place so attractive, other than being 70 and sunny every day of reality, is that there's so much opportunity and so much stuff going on, and so many interesting and lovely people doing special stuff that you want to be here. It's like there's such a value in being here. However, I used to associate going west and going around here and being around Hollywood and such as like that if I did that, it might take away from the sincerity of what I'm doing. One, because it's gonna enforce you to get more capitalistic with what you're doing to try to make ends meet.
Well, just in life,
yeah,
money has to become more important when you come out here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that, but then there's also the reaching of like, I'm gonna go to Hollywood and be a big star. As where when I'm doing the things in Michigan, I'm just like, there's the possibility of an internet bubble expanding, of going viral, as we say. But really, it's like when I'm there, it's like I'm not gonna. My show tonight isn't gonna be the thing that makes me make it. It's like I'm just hyper aware that like there's gonna be people, and they matter. And we're going to have a great experience. But then also there's this thing of like, I'm in training in Michigan, and when I go off to do the thing, that's when the thing is going to happen. And now we've come on this journey here, and ultimately the biggest takeaway is that we can do the thing that we want to do, which is Fractal and Friends, Fractal the Magical Turtle, children's show inspired by things like Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street. Anyway, we came out here to see about, should we seek others' structures to do that and like pitch it like you would a show, or can we do this all with Michigan talent? And what we've discovered is not only can we, but I really want to, because I want to know that it's the most sincere thing possible. But anyway, my question is, it's like, do you find that switch from coming from a place that is like unquestionably high in sincerity, Michigan, Detroit, however, definitely not as much opportunity, and definitely just in terms of numbers, like everything is more numerically higher here. There's more people, there's more money, there's more expenses to exist. But do you find ultimately, like, are you happier here, or are you more engaged? What are the downsides? What are the pros and cons of going from the Midwest? It's so silly that we call it the Midwest. It's neither the middle nor the west of the country.
It's more east than anything.
We're north. Michigan is northeast.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what are the pros and cons of the difference between when you were operating in Michigan as opposed to now being in California?
Well, in Michigan, my cost of living was so low that I could survive solely on the art. I could concentrate 100% on the art. And out here, I have to have a day job. And so that takes away from the time that I could be creating. But I'm also lucky that my day job's cool enough. I work at a rehearsal studio and a recording studio. So I work with like-minded individuals where if I do want to go out on tour, like I'm taking 18 days off in December to do tour dates. I have tour dates. I'm singing for this punk band, and I'm doing a bunch of Downtown Brown stuff. So I'm kind of very lucky out here, because I found myself in a position where I'm able to make money, but I'm able to kind of work on my projects like while I'm on the clock, because I'm just babysitting bands. Like, they come in to rehearse, and I'm just sitting there making sure they don't steal stuff. And then if they want to buy items, there's a store. So I work at like a tiny little minuscule version of a tiny little Guitar Center in Whittier, California, where people come in, they rehearse, and I'm able to. I mean, luckily enough, I'm able to be on the clock and like work on this podcast. And I was able to be on the clock and book a DIY tour last year when I still wanted to like tour all the time. And so I'm in a position where I think I'm really lucky. I'm able to live. I live with a bunch of friends. We live with there's like 7 people in the house. So the cost of living for me and my partner right now is not on the super high LA side. But all of this could change at any moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could get to a point where I have to seek a second job because I'm not able to afford where we might have to live next, because after, once we have to find a new place, then it could double. Like, our cost of living could double. So, so right now I'm in a position where I'm able to survive, and I'm able to still like concentrate on my projects and still do the band, and the weather's nice, but yeah, what it comes down to is at any given point it could become way more expensive, and it could happen like that. And she and I have discussed, like, if we went back to Michigan, we could buy a house. We could get jobs and we could buy a house, and we could just have a simpler life where we could just concentrate on our projects and just enjoy being alive, and not have there be some sort of like grandiose pot of gold at the end of the rainbow where we could just be happy existing. And that's really attractive to me. But the other thing that's really attractive to me is the connections I have out here could potentially lead to more visibility, more success for the projects that I've been working on for 20 years. But also the people who are involved in that industry, it's such a money-driven thing, A, and B, everyone is hustling so hard just to make their ends meet out here, that a lot of the people that will promise you things or say, I can do this for you, I can do that for you, when they come faced with that, it's all just good intentions. But people out here don't have the time to really help other people as much as you would think, because they got to think about their bottom line, they got to think about their cost of living, and they got to think about making their projects flourish. So I feel like it's a very lonely place, as the fact that there's so many people, but everyone is such a narrow viewpoint of like, this is my life, and I'm trying to make my shit pop off. It feels to me like she and I are on kind of a desert island at times. Yeah. And the thing about Detroit that's so wonderful is that it's such a community. There's so many people that are just involved with things because it speaks to their soul, and not because there's a fucking pot of gold because it's just like, this is the community we choose to involve ourselves in, and these are the creative people we choose to collaborate with, and none of it has to do with money, because you can survive in Michigan with very little. So it's a conundrum. I'm constantly questioning whether or not, like, why am I out here? Like, why am I doing this? Like, why is this going to be worth it? But so far, so good. I haven't decided to, but it's definitely in the back of my mind. It's like, I could be, my creative output could be exponentially higher if we went to Michigan. But also, there's people out here that I could have on the podcast that I'm not going to be able to, in Michigan, like the bubble shrinks.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I find, I don't know if I am as a particular turtle am wired for big city life. I always tend to feel like after a week, like it shows me how sensitive and squishy I am to be around, like what you said, like seeing the vortex, the bustling vortex, and the lack of mental emotional real estate that folks have for each other, understandably so, because there's just so much going on, and there's so, you hear the thing about like LA having like a lot of insincerity, and like I always find when folks are saying that, it's like that's everywhere. Those archetypes are so exist in Michigan and Milwaukee and Omaha, Nebraska and Barcelona. But if you focus on that aspect, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of folks here who are here to make it. And
yeah, there's a lot of selfish people everywhere trying to step on other people to make things happen. But at least with my circle out here, it's a lot of people with good intentions.
And if you stay in your circle, then that's like I've only interacted with total sweethearts since on this leg of this journey.
For someone to sum up a giant metropolitan area and be like, that whole,
they're fake.
Yeah,
that's what you hear.
LA is just this. It's like, you can't. It's such a melting pot. There's so many different cultures, and there's so many different people, and they're different socioeconomic backgrounds, and there's a giant flux in wealth, and there's a lot of poor people. Like, you can't just sum up 4 million people and just be like, they're all like this. I mean, if you're talking about Hollywood, yeah, you could, like, if you're talking about Hollywood entertainment industry types, you might be able to say they're this, but you can't just sum up a city. This city is, it's just, there's too much going on. There's too many different people, and there's wonderful, beautiful people here, but there's also scummy shitbags, and you just have to take what people say with a grain of salt. Even if someone has the best intentions and they're like, come out to LA, I'll do this, that, and this for you, just expect that they might have, like, they're gonna have themselves in mind way over you.
Of course, and that is being an adult, and that is lessening one's egotistical messianic Christ complex that I think a lot of us, especially us little boys and living in individualist America, all of our heroes in our fictions were all hero's journey, the chosen one, sort of thing. And that I definitely had that going on strong into my 20s, and now I realize more and more how it's not just about like getting over yourself. There is such a joy and a wonder to the connection of community and to doing something as a team. And there's a proverb that's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you form a team.
Yeah.
And that's probably been the defining thing of the latest chapter and right now of my life, is that I'm going from somebody who was like decisively solo and would collaborate with others, but there was the project. My main project was me doing a thing, and it was my brain and my signal. And now, like, I really want to coalesce and amalgamate with other consciousnesses and artists, and I want to be on a team, and I want to feel like we're doing something.
Well, and honestly, when the music I was making when I was part of a team, because the last record I made essentially was me as a solo artist and and just working with a bunch of different musicians. Like I collaborated with you, and then I had a lot of different musicians from Detroit area and LA area. But for the most part, it was me writing all the music and all the songs. And it feels different because when you're in a band and everything is this communal hodgepodge of everyone's influences and ideas, like when it was Don and Ron and I. That album Gravelton's Beach, that was way more of an effort of 3 different creative minds coming together, as opposed to just there's gonna be pathways and synapses that are gonna be opened up with the influence of these other humans, and like the sum is gonna be greater than its parts. Like when it's a collaboration, it's a beautiful thing, and I think it shows maturity. It shows that you're maturing, that you're willing to let that in, and I think ultimately you're going to be able to get more done, and it's going to be there's going to be ideas that are going to manifest themselves that wouldn't happen unless you had those other people involved. Yeah, so that's a beautiful thing.
So one of my considerations of like the thought of my potentially moving, or at least like moving for a stint of time, kind of like going on walkabout, or just like I never had like a go away college experience, that it would behoove me at this exact point to like come and live somewhere like here for a year or two to see how that bends my consciousness, because like I think the thing that has always been very uncomfortable for me about big cities is that. And what also, on a positive note, like what is a pro of being in Michigan is that I'm able to really hone my signal and isolate and become more me than just what's the thing with the sticky ball that rolls around and picks up all the stuff? It's a video game. There's a ball that's rolling around and it's picking up all of the stuff. Everything's getting attached to it. Well, snowballing. I'm snowballing and I'm getting all the other snowflakes on me, and I'm becoming this thing that at the core there's a thing that is me, but who knows what that is. But I'm mostly assembled out of what I absorb from others. And when I go to a big city, I feel like, holy shit, is like, other than like, laying on your back with earplugs and eye muffs and like going into a deep transcendental meditation, like when are you ever alone? And I need to be alone a lot, and that's a thing that makes me super hesitate about going to a place like this. But I feel like
honestly, you're if you come out to a place this big and everyone's so self-involved, there are times where you don't even have to try to feel as alone as you might want to, honestly. But the point I did want to interject is that if you do come out here, you're gonna have this feeling of I'm starting over. Yeah, because all of those people and those things, those snowflakes that you globbed onto whatever is in the core of that snowball, they're going to be back in Michigan. So you're going to have to come out here and you're going to have to start that process over again. It can be done, but it's fucking hard, and it's heartbreaking at times because, like I said before, like there are days where I just feel like I'm on a fucking desert island and no one gives a shit. But people do give a shit. They're just self-involved. It just is what it is. It's the nature of the city.
And we take for granted anything that we've got going on a lot. Like jadedness to where you live seems to be a big part of the human experience. Like, and that's why I need to leave Michigan in order to come back and appreciate what I have. Where at the same time, the other way around as well, to fully appreciate what it is to be in a big bustling city. Like, I love how international this place is. Like, I super want to feel like I'm in the marketplace of not just America but the world, and I want to be a citizen of the world. And I have this magical turtle in my backpack that's singing about not just uniting the states but the entire biosphere. And I love being in a place where there's so much international coming and going, as where in Michigan you don't have that so much. Detroit's getting a little bit more a hub, but that's really what I love about here in San Francisco and New York. I just love being in a city of the world. However, the bustle does affect me because I'm a sensitive turtle.
Yeah. So you brought a friend.
Yeah. This is Zachary. He's involved in the Magical Turtle musical, and we're a band called Magical Turtle Medicine, and we're here. We're here in the world. And hello, Nebo. It's hard to turn my head entirely. I am not an owl. I am a turtle. Yeah.
So what degree of head turning, what do you think? You can get to about 9 o'clock there.
This is profoundly uncomfortable right now, so I think I'm just going to face forward and, yeah, is that right? Does that make you uncomfortable? Does it feel less?
No, not at all.
Do you feel less seen?
No.
Do you feel less spoken to?
No.
Because I sees you.
I see you too.
And I speaks to you.
Hello, Fractal.
Hello, Nebo.
We're here with Fractal now.
Yes.
And Fractal is a magical turtle.
Yes. Yes, a magical turtle on a magical journey quest.
When did that journey quest start?
From birth, both. One could say birth of Zachary. One could say birth of the concept and character, and now fully activated spirit. One could say entity. That is Fractal the Magical Turtle and the Magical Turtle mission all around. Or you could say the birth of the multiverse. That because to some, I am the voice of the better natured angels of the human turtle spirit. Some have said, but also I'm just a turtle, and Zachary and I are as one, and we are also a dyad, and we are also a trinity.
Are you aware that Stephen King writes about a multiverse that has a benevolent turtle in the novel It?
Yes. Wait. Zachary is aware of this, however, not very learned and astute. I know that that's a thing, but I don't actually know about that turtle mythos. I know about turtles all the way down. I know about several cultures. Pretty much every culture has a turtle myth.
Ah,
yeah.
Well, in the novel It, the main character, through some sort of meditation, he's able to connect with the benevolent creator of the universe. Like he actually threw up the universe, which is this turtle figure.
As in vomited?
As in vomit, yes.
Jeez.
And that turtle entity, the benevolent entity, actually gives Bill in the novel It the tools to defeat Pennywise, or I don't know exactly. I don't know what Pennywise is a
spooky clown.
But that's just the form he takes. A shape-shifting extraterrestrial being that is the opposite, is the malevolent version of the turtle, essentially, in the multiverse.
Wow.
And, but it doesn't touch on that in the movie at all. It just has little nods to a turtle. There's like a little Lego turtle. It doesn't really go into it. But yeah, there's a turtle in the multiverse that throws up our entire universe, and that's how we came to exist.
But if he vomited it, or they vomited it, then what did they consume to be regurgitating?
That's a good question. You got to ask Stephen King this.
Okay, I will. I'm having coffee with him next Thursday.
Just hit him up. Just DM him,
Okay.
Send him a text.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, that made my brain go there. But we're here with Fractal, a magical turtle of the multiverse.
Yep.
And what brings you out to LA, Fractal?
Zachary and I, we were at that desert jamboree, at the Burnsy Man Festival in 2019, and we're performing the Magical Turtle musical atop of a flaming bus, and two magical turtles walked up in onesies and absorbed. And it was a very humble turnout. There was like only 6 people watching, and Zachary's consciousness actually at the time was focusing on the cons and not the pros of that experience, and was thinking, oh, nobody's watching. I was really like. I was upset in the moment as I was performing. You ever have a performance where you're just going through the motions and like
so many
inside your head though, like
so many.
There's and that was one of those. I was unhappy singing the happiest Turtle Heart songs, and I was doing it. I was doing the thing, and apparently I was doing it thorough and sincere enough to where what they absorbed was inspiring enough for Emily gave me a letter that she had just written to the universe, sort of thing, and it was actually very poignant for me. It was addressed to Dear Captain Danger Scout, and then Brian, who's a super magical turtle, went back to that camp and got my information and called me right after Burning Man and said, like, I wanna help with this thing. I was very inspired by it, and I do animation and live in LA, and I'd love to, like, I don't know if it was said right away, like, let's set up a concert sort of thing, but pretty much if you could come out here, I'd love to, like, see what we can do with this. And then I just, like, looked right away on the flight buying app that I will not name, and there was a $70 one-way ticket, and it's like, all right, boom, doing it. Psh. And I had intended for November 6th to be the start of my first European quest, to go and do Europe stuff, and I was going to be going to Italy, where friend Benny Batane, who I don't know if you met Benny Batane, but he's a musician. He's the greatest handpan player in the history.
Yeah, I've seen that you did a Godfractal performance with him that was viewed by many.
Yes. And so we came here, and then he set up a private concert that went really, really well. It was like 50 people and 3 Tiny Turtles children, and just the greatest feedback and the greatest insight. And I really feel like I know what to do with this going forward now, which one of the takeaways is that we can make the Magical Turtle kids show, tentatively titled Fractal and Friends. We can do that all with Michigan talent and resources, and really... Right now, it's like now I'm just on a vacation/mission quest to learn more stuff and elucidate the path, and I'm writing, and I'm gonna go back to Michigan and make the Taco Castle music video and the first episode, which is going to be titled Decisions Are Magical, because decisions are magical, as you know, because you decided to leave your humble home in Michigan and come here to California. And how much did that decision affect in the world?
In my world, it affected everything.
Exactly. Decisions are so magical.
Mm-hmm.
And Zachary experiences a lot of decision paralysis. You know?
I feel that as well.
Yeah. And that's one thing that feel like we're really leveling up on this mission, because with the one-way ticket circumstance and not having a plan, like, we are not on a scheduled tour. We're going to San Francisco next, and we have no plans.
That's fun.
And so we got to be constantly making decisions, and those decisions affect everything forever onward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like I want to play more blitz chess. You know, it's like timed chess, because I feel like as much that's what has been a big holdup for me in the past, is being so ambivalent and you know, considering and regarding each possible choice and timeline as possible and desirable, that I end up not making a choice. And you gotta make decisions here in this reality.
And sometimes the decision is, I'm not gonna make a decision. I'm just gonna stay the course. And that's kind of currently what I'm doing, because instead of making another drastic decision, it's like, all right, I came here to do a thing. I'm going to continue doing the thing until it gets to a point where I have to make a decision.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of at a point where I'm not making a decision on purpose. Like, the decision is to not make a decision right now.
Yeah. And as long as things are going forward, things are progressing, and yeah, it's a magical world. It's also time, and having a finite amount of it, at least to exist as these things that we currently are in this circumstance. It really makes it quite a game. Like what do they call it? Platform games, where everything's going by, like Mario and whatnot, where everything's moving, and
sometimes you got to jump.
Going. Yeah,
sometimes you got to jump, or else you're gonna hit the side of the screen. Either that, or you're gonna fall in the lava.
Yeah,
one of the two.
And sometimes you get power-up stars and mushrooms that give you special abilities for a period of time, and then other times, but you can't stay still. Yeah, it's like Diddy Kong Country. You can't. You could just stand there, but then what's the point? And then when you're a human turtle, though, if you stand still too much, you'll age and die.
Yeah, we got to keep moving.
Yeah, and eating food. I eat bubbles. Yeah,
I've seen that on the internet, Fractal.
Yeah, I eat bubbles because I don't have a throat. So I don't have a swallow ability, so bubbles are really the only thing.
Is that with all turtles, or is that just with you, buddy?
No, that's just me. I'm a very special turtle, very uniquely designed, and so I am mono-nutritional. I eat bubbles, and sometimes glitter. There's glitter in the bubbles, but that kind of just remains as residue on my mouth.
Now, so Fractal, through your journeys with Zak, is there a moment that stands out to you as being the most magical moment so far?
Well, Zachary, tell about. I mean, there's been many beautiful moments, and
of course,
and not all of them in performance capacity. We talk to each other, we hang out, but also, we're understanding more and more. Well, Zachary's understanding more and more that I am as much a voice in Zachary's head as a vibration in Zachary's soul vibrational makeup. Because a turtle is a lot of things. You're several things. And Zachary is several people, several turtles, several personalities, several modes. But tell about the magical meditation that you had the other day when you saw. I saw in my thoughts, in my imagination, but when sometimes where it's really like projected in, like you close your eyes and you see something. I saw Fractal the magical turtle. Not in form of puppet, operative. We're breaking the fourth bubble really hard here, Zachary. Yes, and sometimes you gotta to speak truth about the situation. I saw Fractal not attached to or powered by me. I got to see him flying and swimming and so alive, and then turned to me and looked at me. I really felt like staring into the eyes of other, and then his flippers became wings and flew like an eagle, and then those eagle wings became butterfly wings, and it really moved me, because one thing is that's possible to give others that experience through animation, and I had never thought of flying turtle. And that's what I have been lately, is a butterflying turtle, and we're flying right now. I have no idea what the next 3 days will be, but I know that when I get back to Michigan, I'm creating more so than I ever have, because I've been really the garden hose of my creative output has been thoroughly kinked the last 3 years, with the consideration, which has been meaningful to have this meditation. But one of the things that this trip has done is has cured me of this anxiousness about if I'm going to dedicate my art career mostly to magical turtle family children's stuff, then am I going to have to tuck parts of my existence? Am I going to have to hide more of my shadow from the world? And am I going to have to discontinue other art things that I loved that weren't so family friendly or were more esoteric and wordy and sometimes downright dark and spooky? Am I going to have to discontinue that and divorce myself from parts of myself that I know will continue to exist? And then will that affect the sincerity and truthfulness of the turtle expressions if Zachary is thinking so much about hiding parts of himself? And
how do you do both is the question. And are there people that are doing both currently that they might be giants? I know that they do a lot of children's music, but at their shows they'll actually post signs that say, hey, there's going to be naughty words here, because a lot of fans of that band are bringing their children to the shows now, because they've been in existence for that long. So how do you, I guess the question is, how do you do both?
Well, I feel like the big thing is that it hasn't just been a consideration of if turtle stuff takes off, and I want it to, and that's the goal, because I want to bring this to as many consciousnesses as possible in as many places in the world. So I've thought about how to expedite the expansion of the signal before what was happening naturally, but what I don't want to say should have been focusing on, but what like I really see as the most important thing now is to hone the signal of what it is and be doing it truthfully and sincerely and earnestly in the world. And then if that is something that that more and more folks appreciate and love and applaud, and if it's able to be careerified monetarily, like those are considerations that I'm putting into onto others now. I have a team now, and I never had a team before. I was never well, I had a team, but I was never a team player myself. My own consciousness was very individualist, and so now I am feeling for the first time like my job is to be it in the world, and to just be it and do it and sing it. And then in terms of Zak and What Army, which was my what I was and still am as Zachary, making art stuff in the world, Nonsense Man, that whole thing, I need to do that as therapy in the same way that you do this podcast and get to have these conversations that this is a conversation that we would totally have, you know, just at a park bench, you and I.
Oh, absolutely.
We'd probably talk a little different. Like, I tend to go into my kind of radio voice right now, you know, and then there's I'd probably be a little bit more like, yeah, Neil, you know, but yeah, this is like, that's what the dream is that I'm finding, and that's the thing that it's great to talk to each other as artists who do very different things, but we have a lot of crossover in that we are super sincere, earnest, playful. We're just playing, and the dream is to make a career, make something that can sustain our existence in this still very much capitalist society. You know, that doesn't seem to be changing. So how do we make it so that our career is just being ourselves and doing what we would have done?
That's the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't released any sincere music, like lyrical music, poetry, rapping things in a while, or at least it feels that way. I think that the last thing that I put up on YouTube was the Dolphin Consciousness song, which that was just something that we just wrote and recorded in a day with Jesse Fox and made a video. So and our attitude was like, well, we don't want to put much effort into it. Because
it's just fun and silly.
But I haven't like done the super vulnerable thing, which
is like the God fractal type stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing where I'm like, I'm really. I mean, no, because it's also, I found that my voice is to be comedic whilst being sincere. Like the Dolphin Consciousness song, that is like my artistic voice that I have found, is like, because to me, I could tell you what is being communicated, and that is like really how I feel about reality and humans. Like, we must become playful or we shall perish from this earth.
I want to be a dolphin, not an ostrich or a dachshund, nor a narwhal or a swanson. Dolphins are the most exalted. All the walruses and sharks just kneel before them like a Lion King. Their lemon-sized third eyes illuminate what we are blind to see. If you think now is bad, imagine if the world was dolphinless. In order to survive, we need to see through dolphin consciousness. To learn the dolphin way is how we circumvent apocalypse. The circumstances calls for this. We must become as dolphins is.
Well, and a lot of people, and especially with what I do, they all they see is the goofy first layer of whatnot. But like underneath it, there's definitely a whole lot of meaning and feeling behind everything I do, and as well as you. But I feel like a lot of times if there's a comedic element to it, they won't consider it profound. And that's kind of a thing I feel like we both struggle with, because when you're out there and you're putting your whole soul into something, but it's just a tinge goofy, people are just like, oh. This is comedy. It's like, I don't know, but like underneath comedy is truth. Yeah, always.
It's a voice. It's a mode and a voice. Yeah. But I thought that I was gonna have to tuck or just straight up discontinue my other projects as stand-up comedy and.
Are you worried because so much of your stand-up comedy and so much of the Zak What Army mode is like it could be considered offensive? There's a lot of there's F-bombs and it's definitely more adult oriented. So are you worried that if that content exists that that's going to hinder your ability to be a children's artist?
Yeah, was worried is the thing. Like, that's been the greatest takeaway of this journey, is that I don't feel that worry anymore. I feel like that would be such a high quality problem, you know, that it's like we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And
as long as what you're doing as Zach isn't hateful, or as long as it's done, like, you're intelligent enough of a person where you could present it in a way where you could, like, if someone wants to come at you and try to like cancel you or something, you could be like, listen, like, this is what this means. Like, you could explain yourself very thoroughly and explain why it's really not that bad or offensive, you know?
Yeah, there's I don't think that there's anything in my signal. Definitely not like that.
Some of the battle rapping is
yeah. I'm worried about that. Let's never mention that publicly anymore.
Okay.
And just if somebody like, because, you know, like, I guess what I was worried about was really silly, because like, if your kid's watching something on YouTube, is it a reflex of parents to be like, hey, what is the person with who's puppeteering that, like, what else do they do?
Well, you're going to be kind of not even involved. The show is going to be fractal. It's not going to be like, you're just going to be.
But sometimes you have a worry, and you go through a period in life where something is the main thing you're concerned with, and then you just realize one day, or through others, or through advice, or through a conversation like this, or you know, some epiphany, some moment of leveling up or coming to truth, that it was like, I just, you know, had all that mental anguish for nothing. But it's so freeing now. And I feel like that was meaningful to have that series of years in my life where I was very aware, like, I'm not expressing myself fully. I'm doing I'm focusing on this one side of my existence.
Oh yeah,
and I still want to focus like 80% on, and that's the thing to think of it, is like, I need to be seeing all that, and that's what's so awesome too, is to see like my sincere art, and like stand-up comedy for me is now, that's not what I want my career to be, but it's something I love to do every so often. And now that I'm not thinking about turning that into something monetized, it's just a thing I'm doing for therapy and for truth.
There you go.
It's like, it's super real now. So
Yeah, I sat on the first podcast. I did a solo podcast in this van where I talked for an hour just about my life and like why I decided to do music, and like when I was 17, yada yada. And I sat on that for 6 months. I just didn't put it out, and I didn't do anything. I was stagnant. I wasn't playing many gigs. 2019 was like, the first half of 2019 was super stagnant. And when I put it out and when it connected with people, I was like, okay, this can be an outlet. And I think having as many outlets and being able to express the different parts of yourself in different modes, that ultimately is just going to make you feel better.
Yeah, because connection is the thing. As one Brene Brown has articulated to the collective consciousness in a way that has went viral as a concept. The meme in the Terence McKennian definition of a large idea distilled and compressed into a single sentence or visual. That vulnerability is strength, and we seek to be wholehearted, and connection is the thing that we seek. And now to just, I think that's the healthiest relationship for us to have with being able to monetize the thing that is most sincere to us, and to make a career out of our authentic, genuine, earnest communication, is that what I seek as a human with a heart and you know, a list of intentions, a nonsense manifesto, if you will. What I seek is real human connection, and with the more consciousnesses I can connect with, the more that the numbers game increases with that. But it's not the numbers that I seek; it's the connection.
Yeah.
And so that's why, instead of just having this conversation on a park bench, let's have microphones and a camera and put it on the internet for others to feel connection from. You know?
Yeah, and I feel like some of the more vulnerable people in the public eye, Theo Von is a guy that does a podcast as a comedian, who's like extremely vulnerable. He's extremely vulnerable and a very sensitive guy. Yeah. And he had Bill Burr on his podcast, and Bill Burr is just like, you need to toughen up, you know, and you just kind of watch this titan. Bill Burr is like, he's the biggest comedian, but like Theo Von's a big comedian as well, but you just watch this like little sensitive guy kind of just you know, it was interesting to watch. But even like as far as the sincerity thing goes and the vulnerability thing is, Ron, the bass player at Downtown Brown for 8 years. He has to wear a colostomy bag, and he's straight up posting photos online of him with his shirt off with the colostomy bag. He's just straight up saying, like, I'm a human, I went through some crap, and this is what I have to live with now. And a lot of people are connecting with him because of that. He's going to meetings now, and he's speaking with other people that are dealing with the same problem. And it's that if he didn't possess that vulnerability, he wouldn't be changing lives. Yeah. And so it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, let it all out. Like, be vulnerable. Life's too short to just try to be tough. And especially this day and age, it's 2019. We live in a different time emotionally where people are more free. Like, you can express yourself and be vulnerable, and it's not as frowned upon. Like,
it's quite applauded.
Yeah. So let's do it. Yeah, let's record this conversation. Let's be vulnerable. And I've been doing that for a long time. And it turns some people off. You share too much. You overshare. Like, people don't want to know about this. People don't want to know about that. People don't want to know that you're going to the proctologist to get hemorrhoids removed. But the way I'm looking at it is, like, I'm living authentically as fuck. Yeah.
And with the internet now, it's like, I think it's more... There's more of an understanding in the culture that you're not forced to listen to the long form stuff, and so you can just listen to an artist's songs, or you can go deep down the rabbit hole and really get to the core of who this turtle is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or to the core of who this turtle is.
Yes. Let us be our most magical selves, and let them see us doing it, because they are us and we is we, and we are this, and this is all together one magical turtle.
Fractal, I was wondering if you might want to sing a song for us.
Oh yeah, I could sing a short aqua pillow spell. What should we sing, Zachary? Well, our favorite. Let's sing our favorite. This is short. It'd be brief, a snippet, or you want a song?
Well, this is long form, Fractal, so you can do a 4-minute song if you like. You could talk for, the world is your oyster.
Yeah, and we love oysters. We're friends with oysters. So being inside of a magical oyster. Okay, that's getting awkward. All right, let's it goes. Did you know you were a magical turtle? The only one who's you in the world. And we are all one small all in all, unfolding. Even when we forget to recall this, don't we? I was talking to you, magical turtle. The one who dreams of freeing the world. Your heart is like a truth ray love cannon, and its love beams deal unlimited damage and panda kisses. This is all one fractalist turtle. Watashi wa maho no kame. That means I'm a magical turtle in Japanese. And we are all such magical turtles, dancing in this fractalist swirly-doo. And we can be whatever we can imagine. The realest spell us turtles can cast is magic. En tu eres mi familia tortuga. All the bats and bears and belugas. This multiverse is crawling with magic and bliss, and all of the koalas and mantises can get it. Tu eres mi familia tortuga. Kame no kokoro, happy truth, love. And we can be whatever we can imagine. The realest dream the turtles can cast is happening. It's all happening, Nebo.
It is.
It's all happening, magical turtles.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to express ourselves and to absorb the truthful expressions from your magical turtle heart. It's just so special to feel connected in this van today.
And that's, you know, if anything, what are vans for other than to feel connected?
Yeah, they take us to places to connect with one another, and sometimes they are the vestibule in which communication with magical turtles may take place. And this has been delightful.
Can I shake your fin?
I'm more of a chest bump.
Okay.
But we do shell bumps.
How do we do? Boom.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's it, yeah.
Thank you, Fractal. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Neve.
Are you excited?
To live my most magical life?
For what the future might hold.
Excited for, well, time is not linear when you're a magical turtle. So I promise you, it is, and it's going to continue to be the most magical dream possible.
That's beautiful.
It is a bubble that never pops. Also, paradoxically, is always popping and reforming.
Possible.
Yeah. Anything is possible when you're a magical turtle.
Have you been to San Francisco, Fractal?
We're going there tonight.
Are you excited about that?
Yep. Have no idea what's that's going to do. I actually, you know what? I've never been to San Francisco. Zachary's been. I've never been.
So this is your first time.
Yeah. Well, I was a glimmer in Zachary's eye. I was a voice in his heart. I was part of his soul makeup. But as a physical, apparating puppet, I've never been there physically in this form. Yeah.
Tonight's the night.
We're doing it. We're doing all the things. You're doing all the things, and we're so proud of you.
Oh, I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of you, Zach. We're doing what we can with the time we have and what we have available with us, and I'm proud of me too. I know it's weird to say that, but this year started off very rocky, and I don't know why getting a couple microphones and just talking with my friends has helped so much, but this has changed my life.
Well, that's the theory of the vulnerability thing, is that the more you express and the more you show of yourself, the more you become yourself, and the more truer that you are yourself in the world, the more inspiring and connectable you're going to be. And that's the thing, is that when we were, or when we are in a mode of seeking validation or money. However, there's definitely an authentic and actually really powerful way to be seeking money in a way that is honest and as we say, conscious, intentional. When you're just thinking about, how do I turn this art into revenue, or how do I get more followers? How do I get more fans? When you're in that mode, you're less connectable. You're way less likely to be inspiring and to make that happen. Or at least, there's things that have mass appeal that aren't the most earnest and authentic in the world. Mm-hmm. But the niche we wish to reach is that of very, very real and truth-seeking individuals like ourselves. That won't gravitate towards something if they smell dishonesty on it, and then to put that positively, we are drawn towards flames that are burning more truthfully. So it's really a constant effort to entruthen and enreal in oneself, and that's how you realize your art, and that's how that's how we do the thing, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, because there are things I could be doing right now to make more money, and I choose just to be me. And I talked about it 2 podcasts ago. I'm like, I'm just going to be poor. I just put it out there. I'm like, I'm just going to be poor because I want to do me as much as I possibly can. And if that ends up not putting money in my pockets, then I'm fine with that. I've gotten to the point where it just is what it is. But yeah, I'm being genuinely me through, the 20 years of doing the band thing, and now this is just... that's what I got a day job for. Unfortunately, I have to do that in order to survive, but I want what I create. I don't want to pander, and I don't want to play acoustic cover songs at corporate events and be background music. I want to be the most magical Neil Patterson that I could be with my time on this earth, in this vessel, right, Fractal?
Absolutely. Yes. You're saying it, and you're doing it, and in order to make the manatee infestation manifest in the world, first you got to know what you wish for. You got to be able to speak the spell before you can be casting the spell. Yeah. So it's good for us to ask each other these questions, and it's good for us to have both the meditation and the connective experience of communicating with each other in this way. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, Fractal or Zach, is there any message you want to send out into the ether?
Yeah, you know what I've been thinking that I would like to hear myself say, maybe just as a practice, or if anyone were to hear this that wishes to, I feel like I'll put things online a lot of like, I'm about to be in this place. Is anybody there who wishes to house a turtle or meet up with a turtle? And ultimately, when I'm on a mission like this, and I think that this is going to be a lot of my life, is just going out into the world with like, all right, me and Fractal are going out there, and we've got this one mission objective of this show in this city. But then we're just going to be there, and what I find is the happiest day for me, and what makes me happiest and most feeling the meaningfulness of my mission and like all around what maximizes myself as an experience and as a spreader of joy is the opportunity to perform the Magical Turtle musical. I do the stand-up comedies. I'm great at just hanging out with folks, and the long-form artistic expression of being a person and being a turtle. My favorite thing is just when Fractal the Magical Turtle can interact with children, particularly children that could really use some connection and to not be bored. We're really trying to find ways to get into like hospital settings and spaces of that nature. And so it's like if anybody has a breadcrumb of where to take this, that's where we're at right now. Is like we've got a performance. It takes a half hour, and we've got I also do my music stuff and whatnot. We are following the breadcrumbs of where to take this right now. Very, very humble performance art. So seek us out. We exist on the internet, and we'll come to your city and sleep on your couch.
Links below.
And perform in front of you and for your friends. And that's pretty much where we're at right now. And it's great. It'll be great to look back at the humbleness of now in the same way. It's great to look back at before Nonsense Night, the thing that we do in Detroit. There was a time where that was just a sparkle in its mother's eye, and now it's a whole thing, and just how much we've grown. To look back at ourselves back when we were so worried about would we ever get the chance to do it. And right now, the place that I'm at and really comfortable with is just really grassroots, and that's awesome. And like you said about like, I guess I'll just be poor and do the most authentic thing. I feel that way about now, about like I'd rather be where I'm at right now and noteworthily unfunded, but I actually don't think that that's for long. But there's something so intruthing about having these years where we are the archetypal starving artist to the utmost degree,
Yeah.
And
sometimes those years they continue into your 40s.
Yeah. Well, who's to know to say the number? But I definitely know that Fractal the Magical Turtle. Well, it's my responsibility and that of the Magical Turtle team to bring Fractal the Magical Turtle to a wider audience and to find a way to make this signal expand and supernova and go super sane. But right now, I love where we are, and where we're at is we're doing a thing. If you'd like to tune in, it's we're singing our Magical Turtle truth. Yeah,
and that definitely is a thing. You have to be grateful for what you have and where you're at, and that gratitude is really important. So I'm grateful to be here right now with Zachary Winchester and Fractal the Magical Turtle in a van in Los Angeles, California. And the links are below to his art type stuff on the internet. And yeah.
Is this the real ending now? Because there's been several false endings. It's getting very Lord of the Rings-esque.
I think this is the real ending because we have to go work.
Yeah, and Zachary has to go play.
Yeah, so go play. And it was so nice having you, Fractal and Zach. And this has been SUPcast episode 13.
Ooh.
Thanks once again.
Ooh.
Love you, dude.
I loves you too.
And I loves yous.
And I loves you too.
Yes.
Hooray.
So everyone, hopefully this connected you in some way, shape, manner, or form, and we will see you next week. Love you, bye.
Kajo.
Kajo.
So you don't have to worry at all. Sometimes you got a curl in a ball. You don't have to be sturdy and tall to be a magical turtle.